Recently, I had to switch my basal insulin from Tresiba to Toujeo. Honestly, I like Tresiba more, but Toujeo is what's covered under my insurance, so Toujeo it is. Unfortunately, Toujeo is a little unique compared to Tresiba, and today I like to go over that. Today I like to go how I deal with using Toujeo U300 insulin. Now, what is the issue with Toujeo? The main thing, of course, is that it's U300 rather than the typical U100 of most name brand insulins. This means that Toujeo is 3 times stronger per volume than Tresiba, meaning that I end up actually needing a third of the amount of dose. Now, the Toujeo pen itself is actually calibrated with this in mind. And if you notice, you can try it for yourself. If you take a Toujeo pen, you squirt out, let's say, 10 units of insulin from it, and then you put some in a syringe, you pull it out, and then squirt out 10 units from that, you'll find that the volume from the Toujeo pen is about a third as much as the volume from the syringe, because it's actually dialed in with this U300 potency in mind. Problem is, syringes aren't. And if you know me, you know my content, you know what I'm about, you know that I like using syringes a lot more than I like using pens for various reasons. And I'll link the video below if you'd like to learn more about that. But I like to use syringes more. Problem is, it specifically says on the pen, do not use syringes with this. Why? Well, as I explained earlier, the volume is different. So to the average diabetic who would try to take exactly the same amount of units from a syringe and inject it in them that they took from Tresiba or something else, they're going to have a big problem because that Toujeo is 3 times as potent. And they're probably going to go low and might get pretty hairy, right? So I had to do this carefully because I still want to use my syringes. I don't like following the rules. I don't like doing what the man says. But how will I use syringes safely and effectively with a more potent insulin like this when the syringe isn't calibrated in that way? Simple. First off, I had to basically take the dose of Tresiba I had now and divide by 3. Now that wasn't totally accurate in the end. I ended up needing a little bit more than a third of my Tresiba dose, but that is where I started, right? And instead of actually doing it from a syringe by hand, where I just, pull it out, sort of eyeball it, and then shoot in myself like I would with my Tresiba or with my R insulin or Humalog, instead, I actually use one of my Pro Precision pens, specifically the one that goes down to 1/20th unit increment dosing. Now this Precision Pro pen can actually dose at 1/20th unit precision. That means it's actually more accurate, more precise than the pen itself. Aha! Take that, Solo Star. And this is better than trying to just do it with your eyeballs and by hand because, more safer too, because the eye is not going to be able to see the differences clearly when it's that much more potent. Before, I was fine with using my eyes and my hands because it's U100, but when it's that concentrated, that little bit of difference, just from the markings on the syringe or something like that can make a huge difference. So instead of doing that, I use the pen, which is more consistent, more accurate, more precise anyway. What I do is I simply take out the amount of dosage that I'm going to take for a day. Well, that's split into 2 doses, but I use the same needle for both. I take out a dose for a 24-hour period, and then a little half unit more, just to make sure that the pen can have enough to be primed with. Put in the pen, prime it up, and when it's time to go to bed, I simply take that dose for the night. Again, divide by 3 to start, and then experiment it up to where I'm at now. Take that in the morning, I take the rest with the pen, and that way, I'm able to get a consistent dose with Toujeo, despite being very concentrated, in a way that works very well for me and able to actually hone down my blood sugars and hone down that basal and get that dose just right very well without having to rely on the pen itself, but with using a syringe. So that's all I have, everyone. Just some Toujeo tribulations. That's how I'm able to use a syringe with Toujeo, despite it saying you probably shouldn't, using my Pro Precision pen. So everyone, have a good day and keep taming that type 1. What's up, guys? If you liked that video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, be sure to subscribe, and be sure to share the video with your friends so that way the world can find out what it truly takes to tame type 1. Along with that, be sure to check out my website, tametype1.com, where you can find testimonials, where you can find more tips and tricks, and you can even sign up for type 1 diabetic coaching. Along with that, if you aren't on them yet, please follow me on my social media platforms, and not just Facebook, YouTube, but also Gab, Rumble, Telegram, and Odyssey. We never know when the censorship overlords and big tech are going to come for me next, being a truth teller when it comes to health, so be sure to follow these platforms, and that way, no matter what happens, you'll always be able to follow us and you'll always learn the next new tips in taming type 1 diabetes. Follow along, everyone, keep updated, share the video, and learn what it takes to tame type 1. I'll see y'all next time.